Hello good people, welcome back to tutorial. Today we are going to learn how to make this jumbo size lunch bag. My returning subscribers, thank you very much, and if you are stopping by for the first time, please don't leave without subscribing. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I'm going to give you a rundown of the sizes of my leather that I've already cut out. So, and also I will explain to you some of the markings. You can see there's a marking here. I will explain to you how I got this. To start with, this is the side, and this is an MK leather. So when you're working with a leather that has character on it like this, be careful not to turn it upside down. So what I have here, because the size is bigger, it's not like the usual one we are used to. I have here 6 inches. I hope you are seeing it. 6 inches by 11 3/4 inches. So if it's the former one I made, I use around either 6 inches or 5 inches by 11, but this is bigger. So this is for the side. So for this side now, we are going to shape it to give it a shape. So the shaping, I don't want it to be too deep, so I'm using 1/2 inch here. I will also take 1/2 inch on this side. You can shape one side and use that side that you have shaped to cut the second side. So 1/2 inch. So by the side here, I'm taking 1 inch. I will also do same here. I'll take 1 inch here. So the only thing I'm going to do now is just to give it a freehand shape. Just shape it, curve it to meet your 1/2 inch this way, the way I just did now. So I will cut it out. Then for this down, I'm just going to give it a little shape, very small shaping, just to get rid of this pointedness here. I don't want it to be pointed or to be like rectangular shape. I don't want it like that. So I'm just shaping it a little. So now I'm going to cut it off. When I cut this, I will fold it together this way and use it to shape this side. So after cutting it off, this is what I have as the shape. This is the upper shape and this is the down shape. So I'm going to keep this aside for the side. So I also have with me this one. This I'm using it for the side. I'm going to put a side pocket. This is 9 inches by 11 1/2 inches. So I'm using this for the pocket. Then these 2 pieces of leather here, I'm using it for the handle that will be on the cover. So what I have here, the cover will be around 9 inches. So I have here 11 inches. The cover should be around 9 1/2 inches. I have 11 inches. So I added 1 1/2 inches to the wideness of them. So the width is 1.5 inches. And I have 2 pieces of it. I'm just going to put it right side facing each other like this. I will tape it here and also tape it here. Now this is the body of the bag. What I have here is 34 inches and 1/2. I know that the question will be, how did I get the 34 inches and 1/2? I measured round this. When I measured round the side, I got 34 inches. I just added 1/2 inch for my seam allowance. That's what I did. So the width, because it's going to be very big bag, so the width I have here is about 11 inches and 1/2. You can make your own, choose the width you want for your own, but this is what I want for this bag. And the opening, the regular one that you did, like my former video, the opening of the mouth, I use 8 inches, but here I'm using 9 1/2. And in the other video, I took by the side here, I took 1 1/2, but here for the side allowance, I took only 1 inch because they want the opening to be wide. So I also took 1 inch here, I took 1 inch here, I took 1 inch here. I ruled it as a straight line. The 9 inches I took here, or 9.5 inches, I also ruled it as a straight line. So in order to shape the opening of our lunch bag, what I did here is I took 1/2 inch here, 1 inch here. I also take 1 inch here. Then I now connected it as a curve. I curve it to give it a shape. So now I'm going to cut it out. I want to reconfirm and be sure that my two shaping by the two sides are equal. That's what you see me checking here now. I want to be sure of that. So I'm done cutting it out. So the next thing now is to cut lining and foam. So for my lining, I'm cutting a full lining this way. I'm not going to cut open my lining. It will be after sewing my lining to this body, that here I'll sew my lining this way. It will be after sewing it that I will now cut out my opening for the lining. Then for the sides, I'm also going to cut out the exact lining for the two sides. Then I will also cut foam for it. But the only thing that for lining, you cut exact lining, you just add little allowance in your lining. By the time you finish sewing, you know, sometimes lining used to drag. So by the time you are done sewing, you can trim the excess lining. But for my foam, I don't like cutting the exact size. What I always do for my foam is I always reduce the size. Like now that I have here 11.5 inches. So my foam now I will cut 10.5. I'm going to reduce 1 inch. I have here 11.5 inches. So the width of the foam I'm going to cut will be 10.5 inches. I'm reducing 1 inch. That 1 inch, I'm leaving 1/2 inch here for my seam allowance, 1/2 inch here for my seam allowance. That is for the width. Then for the length of my bag is 34.5 inches. That means the length of the foam I'm going to cut is going to be 30. In fact, I'm going to cut 33 inches for the length. So I'm removing 1.5 inches because I will need allowance here to sew. I will also need allowance here to sew, and I will need allowance down here to sew. So I'm removing 1.5 inches. The foam will be 33 inches. I also have with me my adjuster, 1.5 inches adjuster, and also rectangular ring. Then I have with me my zipper head. This is size 7 zip head. This is size 7 zip clothes. Then my belt, I have two sizes of belts here. This is 58 inches. It will be sewn on one side of the side. I'm going to put it on it this way, and so when I get it will continue like this for this side. Then while this shorter one is the one that I will attach this my rectangular ring to. I'll fold it in this way, then I will put it and sew. This is the way it will be. So now I'm going to start sewing. First, I'm going to sew this. You have to get the midpoint. You can see I've already notched my midpoint. You have to also notch the midpoint of your belt. Centralize it very well and sew it this way on this side. Then the second belt will be on the second side. This is my notch point. I'll put it this way and sew it to like 2 inches. I'll measure 2 inches from here to here. That's where I will stop. and that's it for the side. Cover, this is the cover. I've already told you how I'm going to sew my belt. When I'm done taping it by the two sides, I will notch the midpoint of this my cover. I'll put it together this way, get the midpoint. I'm already notching it. Make sure that it's equal this way. I'll notch it. So by the time I'm done taping this, I will just get the midpoint of it also. Make sure I centralize it together. Then I will sew it in 1 inch this way, this way. I will also do the same here and sew on this side. That's how I'm going to sew this to this cover. So this is my foam now. I'm going to cut open of my lunch bag. I can use this. So what I'm going to do here now is I'll make sure that the space I have here is equal with this. Then I'm going to trace it. Is equal. So I'm tracing it now. I'm using this for the cover. The foam I'm going to cut out here, I'll still use it for the cover. So after pressing it out, this is what I have, but I cannot cut it like this because I need to reduce this foam for the cover. So I'm going to remove 1/2 inch round on it before I'll cut it out. So I'm going to cut it now. I'm cutting from this 1/2 inch line. So when you look at this allowance here is also going to be bigger for this by the time I'm done sewing. So we have to also reduce it. So we are going to work on this our front pocket now. So remember we are working with 9 inches as our height of the front pocket. Then the width is 11.5 inches, which is the size of our leather. What I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to attach a zipper on it. So I've already cut lining for it. This is the front of my lining and this is the back of the lining. So what I'm going to do is I will put my leather, remember it has lettering on it, be careful. So I'll put my zipper on it this way. Then I'll put my lining. The right side of my lining will be facing the wrong side of my zipper, which is here. I'll put it this way and I will sew it down. Then I will turn it. After sewing, I will turn it and top stitch on it. Okay guys, I can see I'm done sewing my belt to my leather. This is one and this is the second one. This is the side pocket. I've also stitched it round with my lining round on it. So now the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on this. So this is my piping cord. So I'm going to use it to pipe the two sides and the cover now. So what I'm going to do is that I'll put my lining. This is my lining and this is my leather. This lining, I cut it for the two sides. So this side that is here is for this second side. So once I put it this way, you start piping from the down here. From down, you don't start from up. From the midpoint here. So I'll just put my piping cord this way and pipe it. As I'm piping it around, when I get to somewhere here, I will insert my foam from here and continue till I get here. That's what I'm going to do to this, and also to the cover. These are the only three that we are going to pipe. Okay, now we are going to sew our lining to our main body. So this is the wrong side of my lining, and while this is the right side. So I'll put it together, wrong side facing each other, and we'll arrange it so you put it on top of each other this way, then you will sew this way, this way, this way. Stop here. That's what I'm going to do now. I'm done stitching it together here. So now I'm going to cut it out. So this is what I have now. This one that I cut out, I'm going to use it to line this, the cover. I'm using it for the cover. I'm not going to throw it away. Have you seen it? It's exactly the size. So now I'm going to pipe it this way. I'll start from here, pipe it till I get to this side. So I'm done piping it. You can see I'm piping it round. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to sew the front pocket. So I'll lift it up this way, move my lining forward this way. Then I'll measure from this place that my pipe stop, cord stop. I'll measure 1 inch this way. From that 1 inch, I will sew my zipper. I've removed the zipper from here. So this is the right side of my zipper. I will put it this way and sew it down from that 1 inch this way. Okay, you can see I'm done sewing it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to use my 1 inch belt. I'll place it on it this way and sew it down. I'll also sew it this side. That's the next thing I'm going to do now. So after taping it now, this is what I have. So now I'm going to sew this. So I have to put it on, place it like, let the zipper teeth come together. Make sure your zip teeth are together and this together by this is equal on by the side. So you take note of where your front this thing, trace it where your front pocket stops. So I'm going to now keep it on it this way. Maybe I'll leave like 1/4 inch to come in. I place it this way. I will stitch it down. Then I will move it forward this way and top stitch on it. So I'm done sewing. This is it. I've top stitched it. So what I did, if you look at here, you see my traced line here. I went in by 1/4 inch from the, I went up this way by 1/4 inch before I stitch my leather. So that's what I did. When I stitched it, I noticed that it stretched. So I wanted it to be equal and have some space. I have to move up by 1/4 inch. Take note of that. So now we are going to fix our zip heads. Remember, all these things I'm sewing, my lining is separate. You can see it. My lining is separate. So don't sew together with your lining. So now I'm going to fix the zip head. So this is what we have now. So now we are going to sew our zip clothes on this piping, and also on this piping cord. This side we sew zip clothes on it, and also on this one. But when I'll be sewing this, I'm just going to put it, this is the wrong side of my lining and this is the wrong side of my lead. I'll put it wrong side facing each other. I'll put my lining this way and sew it together when I'm sewing my zipper. So I'm done sewing the zip clothes to this one. So I will tape it round here. Then I want to get the middle of this now. So this is the middle. Now I'm indicating it. I will also notch it on my zip cloth. This is the middle. So I'm going to open it up this way. This, I will get the middle of this also. This is the middle. So I bring this right side facing each other. Right side, this is the right side of the zip. It will face this place. I'll match it middle to middle. I will arrange it and sew it. Make sure that the two middles are together. Then you sew your zipper round. So when I'm done sewing the zipper round now, I will also tape it round. So I'm done sewing the zipper, and also I've taped it. You can see the two. So now I'm going to fix my zip head. Before that, I want to fix my foam here. Don't forget to fix your foam. Don't forget it. Unless what you are doing is not insulated lunch bag. So this is my foam. I've already fixed for this. So now I want to fix the zip. Okay, you can see I've fixed my zip head. You see that my mark, you make sure that it's together. If it's not together, your cover will be bending. So you make sure that they are together. So this is it now. I'll fix my zip head. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to fix my foam on the body. So I'm going to just raise it up this way and put your foam. if your foam is bigger by the side here, you trim it from the inside here. Trim a little from the inside. Right, you put it and you notice that it's big, like now it's big. I'm going to trim it. So I'm going to trim from the inside, not outside. So now I'm going to sew it round this way, this way, this way, this way, this way till here. Okay, I'm done sewing it round. This is what I have now. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim the excess lining now. Okay, when you look at this now, you will see that I have excess. Is not equal here. This and this are not equal on this side also. So what you will do is, and when you measure, if you do the right thing, the excess you have from here to here and the one you have from here to here, from here to here will be the same if you do the right thing. So now I'm going to make it to be equal. I'm going to make it to be equal. So now that I've marked it that way, I will trim it off. So I will cut it off. I will cut this excess off and also this here off. So I'm going to stitch on it this way. Then I'll trim off this excess lining. Okay, I've stitched it. Now I'm going to trim off the excess lining. So now is the time to join it. So before you join it, you have to measure from here to the end to know what you have, and also measure this one to know what you have. Make sure that what you have here and what you have here are the same. If it's not, if this is bigger, you reduce it from this side. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll measure it round, and then if it's okay, I will just bring it together this way. I'll just bring it together like this. You can see it's equal here. I will stitch it. Then, and I will also tape it. I'm done joining it and also taping it. So now it's time to join the sides to it. So what we are going to do is, you see, this our handle is our center. The center of this handle is our center. So what you will do, just press the center and notch it. If you fold it, because of that thick leather I put, I may not be able to fold it. Just gauge the center. That is your own center, the center of the handle. I have indicated this side. I will turn it to this side. I will also gauge the center of this one, get the center of the handle, trace it to my leather. That's what I'm doing now. I'll trace it to my leather. So this is my center now. Now that I've gotten it, I can now fold it this way. Make sure you fold it at that place that is the center to get the down center. Make it equal, let it be equal. You notch it both up and down. You notch here, you stretch it very well, make sure it's equal. Then you notch the down. Be careful not to cut your lining. See it? Let me cut it now. Be careful not to cut your lining. So that's it. This is my up center and this is my down. So I will do the same thing on this side also. I'll fold it at that point that I marked. This is it here. That is my center for up here. I will also notch it. So as I hold it like this, you fold it very well. Make sure that it's equal. Use it to get the down. So I'll also notch it here. Now I've already notched this before. You can see the notch point here. You can also see the notch point here. I hope you are seeing it. So this belt side will face up. I'll put it notch point together, push your belt inside, not match the two notch points together. Match the down one together also. The down notch point, match it together. Now we arrange it now. So after arranging it now, this is what we have. You see it? Put your peg, everything will be equal. So I'm going to sew it round now. I will also arrange this one on this side. This belt will be on this handle side. I'll put
so after joining the sides and taping it,
when I'm done sewing,
I've turned it to the right side. This is what I got. I didn't see the clip, but this is how it came out. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Please don't forget to subscribe and like my videos, share it.